Hey everyone, I'm back with another update. In this episode, I'll cover immigration related news and Trump's Pennsylvania rally. Of course, I'll end with the noteworthy tidbits. An information request unveiled that Minnesota is funneling property taxes into NGOs, with Ramsey County giving $38.4 million to 213 different NGOs, and Senator John Kennedy exposed on the Senate floor that Minnesota Governor Tim Walz was intimidating Somali fraud whistleblowers. A whistleblower revealed that major Somali fraud is also taking place in Maine and that the Maine Somali executives have a connection to Minnesota. President Trump announced that Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent is investigating the Somali fraud schemes, and federal agents continue to conduct ICE raids in immigrant heavy areas in Minnesota. Conservatives are demanding an immediate investigation into the protesters who know where ICE and border agents in Illinois will be ahead of time, and Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker refused to hand over 1,768 criminal illegal aliens to ICE, releasing them instead. Those released were being detained for 813 sex predator offenses, 51 homicides, 1,134 assaults, and 120 weapons offenses. Senator Rand Paul is drawing up legislation to crack down on welfare for foreigners and migrants, saying, if you're coming in and you're going to get put on Medicaid and you want food stamps, you need to stay where you are. You're not an asset. You're now a drain to our country. Two leftists from New Jersey were arrested for threatening to hang DHS Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin. Apparently, the two wanted to torture and kill McLaughlin, as well as shoot ICE agents on site. Last for this topic, the State Department confirmed that they've revoked 85,000 visas since January 2025. On to Trump's Pennsylvania rally. President Trump held a high-energy campaign-style rally at the Mount Airy Casino Resort in Mount Pocono, Pennsylvania, marking the kickoff of a series of domestic events aimed at bolstering his administration's economic record ahead of the 2026 midterms. The event drew a packed crowd of thousands in Monroe County, a swing area in Pennsylvania's competitive 8th congressional district that Trump narrowly flipped red in 2024. Trump focused primarily on affordability and inflation, though the 90-minute speech veered into familiar grievances on immigration and political rivals. Banners on stage proclaimed lower prices, bigger paychecks, underscoring the administration's push to address voter frustrations over rising costs, which polls show are eroding Republican support. Key themes and highlights included economic wins and defenses, immigration rants, and midterms and rivals. Supporters chanted familiar lines like USA and Fight, 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 with videos showing crowds pouring in early, and Trump danced to the YMCA post-speech. Now it's time for the noteworthy tidbits, which are brought to you today by Old Glory. Let me tell you about them quick. Are you looking for a gift for a music lover, or maybe some apparel to show off your quirky side? Old Glory has you covered. With over 300,000 officially licensed items covering music, sports, entertainment, and pop culture, you're guaranteed to find the perfect item. They even have seasonal gear. My husband enjoys the Beatles and Led Zeppelin apparel, and I love the Billy Idol apparel. I even found items for my fellow plant enthusiasts. This family-owned superstore is known for their quality and customer service, offers free standard shipping on all orders, and orders are shipped the same day you purchase. My discount code gives you 15% off your entire order, and it's currently the best deal available. Just visit oldglory.com and enter in my promo code JADE, that's JADE, at checkout. All right, let's get back to the tidbits. A federal court sided with War Secretary Pete Hegseth and upheld the transgender military ban, and Congressman Shri Thanedar announced articles of impeachment against Hegseth. The U.S. Senate confirmed judicial nominees Robert Chamberlain and James Maxwell, both to the Northern District of Mississippi, and Louisiana Supreme Court Justice William Crane to the federal judiciary, serving for the Eastern District of Louisiana. President Trump threatened to pull federal funding from Chicago public transportation after a woman was set on fire on the train by a criminal with 72 prior arrests, and according to the Associated Press, Federal Transit Authority Administrator Mark Molina sent a letter to Mayor Brandon Johnson and Governor J.B. Pritzker demanding the Chicago Transit Authority develop and implement an updated safety plan by December 19th. Sharon Henderson, a Georgia Democrat state representative, was indicted for pandemic unemployment fraud. The DEA reported that the lethality of fentanyl pills has plummeted, with the lethal potency in pills on the street going from 26% 2 years ago to 29% today. The White House confirmed that the price of cars will decline by $1,000 to $2,000 on average due to President Trump slashing regulations on vehicles. Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf, after being shot in the head by an Afghan terrorist in D.C., was able to stand up from his bed in the hospital. Former CDC Director Rochelle Walensky is sounding the alarm that vaccine makers won't make vaccines if they're held accountable for their vaccine injuries. President Trump said that it's time for Ukrainian President Zelensky to hold an election and stop clinging to unelected power, and he confirmed that Zelensky refused to read their peace proposal. A federal judge granted President Trump and Attorney General Pam Bondi's request to unseal the files from Epstein associate Ghislaine Maxwell's sex trafficking case. It's been revealed that the VAERS system shows 38,472 deaths reported associated with the COVID-19 vaccine, with 9,252 of those deaths occurring on the day of vaccination or within 1 to 2 days. Assistant Attorney General Harmeet Dillon launched an investigation into Colorado state prisons as Tina Peters is being held in captivity. There are apparently reports of unconstitutional and legally insufficient carceral conditions, and as Dillon pointed out, prisoners still have civil rights. President Trump revealed Jerome Powell's reappointment to the Federal Reserve might be nullified because it was instituted by the Biden autopen. The city of Miami's mayorship flipped Democratic for the first time in nearly 30 years, with Eileen Higgins defeating Trump and DeSantis endorsed Emilio Gonzalez, and Ralph Musilo won the Florida State Senate District 11 special election. Incoming NASA head Jared Isaacman, with Senator Sheehy and retired Army Ranger Jericho Denman, set the world record for the largest flag flown in freefall. The Georgia State House District 121 flipped from red to blue, with Eric Gisler defeating Mac Guest by a couple hundred votes. That's all I have for today. I'll be back with another update soon. Until then, please like, subscribe, and share this podcast, and follow me on Instagram and X at Shades of Jade Pod. Thank you for listening and have a great day.